So last time on Chops Garage, you saw me go to local auctions and show you how insane the prices of small cars at the moment. Cheap small cars, the stuff that's going to retail sub £5,000 was mental. We had 2008 Corsas with 40,000 miles selling for £2,200 before fees. We had cars that were going to retail for £3,000 selling for £2,400 before fees. In amongst that, we scored one car which we thought possibly was a bargain and everyone missed. But we're about to find out whether that's right or not. So this is the 2015 Seat Ibiza I bought. I have not touched this car yet. I've not driven it. I've not seen it unloaded because it was dropped off overnight. I saw it on the block when I was there. Wrong thing to do. I bid as I saw it come across a block. I hadn't checked it out before. It looked like it was going cheap because if you remember, the bid started at just £2,000 on it. It's got 80,000 miles on it, but the bid started at just £2,000. And when you saw 2008, 2009 cars going through the block at like 2.5 before it, it like a screaming bargain. There was one obvious reason why it was going cheaply, and that was the damage to the sill down here. It has got a dented in sill. Luckily, the person that had this car didn't inform their insurance company and asked to claim through their insurance company, because otherwise it would probably have an insurance write-off status on it, because I don't know if an insurance company at this age would do that work or not. They might do. It might have enough value for to do that work, but it's easily fixed. We can get a new section of sill and put it in, or my guys might be able to pull it and repair it, and it'll be back to as good as new. But yeah, what we didn't do is get a chance to drive it. I didn't even hear it start. I heard it running across the block. It sounded right. I don't know what the service history is. I did the wrong thing to do at auction, just put my hand up. So we're about to find out whether I made a big mistake or not. The retail we found for the car was about £5,000. I got stung with fees because I forgot I haven't used Mannheim for a really long time, so they charged me £500 in fees. By the time I paid, I also got bid up to £2,800 on it by the time it went across. I've since learned that the chap from the dealership stood at the podium with the auctioneer. Wasn't there for a fun day out. Apparently they can bid against you with a button. That's what I'm being told. Tell me down below if that's true or not. But I got bid up to £2,800, which I still thought was a good buy versus everything else. But then when the fees came out on it, I think it came to about £3,500 or something. So we need to get it all fixed up. I think I remember, no, sorry, maybe it's worth 5.5. I think I've got about a 2k margin in it as it stands now. But as you've seen, if you've watched Chops Garage at all, 2k sounds like a big margin. But by the time you've done everything, that can go down very quickly. Now, that repair there is probably easier, £500 repair. If the car's got any problems mechanically wise, we could really be up the Swanee. For starters, I think I've only got one key. We need to check inside the car and see otherwise. I've not started it, like I said, since it was dropped off. They ran late with the delivery and just left the keys in my lockbox. So I don't know if it runs okay. I don't know, like I say. Anyway, that's enough waffling. Let's get in and have a look and see what the score is. Well, the remote central locking works. I didn't look at the interior of the car. I assumed 2015 it was going to be okay. It turns out it is. So that's a good start. There was no other bodywork to be done. It was literally just that sill, which again, oh no, tell a lie. There's a little bit of a thing up here, but I think I can touch that in and wet sand that. Once the painter leaves me some paint, I can touch that in and wet sand it. Let's have a look. The back bumper's okay. It's got a couple of little touch-ins to do on that. Does it need to be double unlock, or is the boot not working? I can't get the boot to unlock. Maybe try the big button in the middle with the boot unlocking on it. That might do it. No, still not. Right, so we've got a problem, the boot won't unlock. So there we go, we've got some money to spend again somewhere else already. Interesting. I don't think that was on the report, unless I'm doing something really stupid. I'm sure you'll be in the comments telling me if I am doing something really stupid, which wouldn't be the first time, would it? Inside, like I said, all the seats are good. All the plastics are good. We've got Bluetooth, which is a big plus on these. And I imagine it's Bluetooth audio as well this late. We've got auxiliary input and USB input. So I'm thinking of this as first time car for someone, which that could be, those are going to be big selling plus points for it. Right. Ignition switched on, we know that. Actually, we should check under the engine bay first, make sure it's got oil before we start trying to start it. So under the engine bay, we have a 1 litre MPI engine. Again, why I thought it'd be a good first time car. I'm sure we're going to have a raft of comments already as to what can go wrong with these engines, but to be honest, my experience is that all engines go wrong. It's just a case of just luck, really. There's not an engine out there that doesn't have its known problems. The coolant is on exactly the right level, which means either someone's topped it bang up to the right level or it was in the first place. You never know, do you? It's been sitting and I've not started it at all, as you know. So let's check what the oil looks like. The oil looks, let's wipe it on something so we can get an idea of what the colour looks like. Oh. The colour looks okay. It doesn't look that old, but let's wipe it off and re-dip it. Use the brake and transmission while I do that one-handed. So let's dip it. No tripods on this channel, guys, as you well know. Don't know if I had that fully seated, but it looks about midway on the dipstick. Let's say the oil looks clean. Looking down the gearbox, I can't see any oil on the rear main seal where your gearbox meets into your engine. That can often start to leak as the vehicle gets older. That looks dry. Everything else looks good. All the fittings look original. I can't see anything unoriginal in the fittings to indicate that it's had any accident damage that was repaired under insurance or anything like that. That all looks good. All the plastics are good. There's no white chalk writing on any of the components to indicate that they have been fitted from a scrapyard or anything like that. They're the things to look out for. Engine bay is an honest level of dirty. It's not horrendous. So on the basis of that, I think we're okay to start it. So key in ignition, 81,572, which will make it a nice cheap 2015 car. Lowest amount of fuel I've ever seen in a car I've had delivered. So has that been emptied? I don't know if they still do that kind of thing or not. Started up fine, and there's no engine management lights. Does that mean anything? Not really, because with modern cars, if an engine management light has been turned out, it will normally take a number of cycles to come back on again. That can be different between manufacturers, so that's something to be very careful of. If you're going to see a car, sometimes it's worthwhile stopping and starting it a number of times, because if someone's done that, the code will come back again. So when you're looking at the vehicle, stop and start it a number of times while you're in the driveway or at a dealership. Not necessarily a dealership, because if an engine light comes on, you're going to be able to take it back, but you can't take it back at a private sale. So stop and start it a few times. When you go on your test drive, stop and start it afterwards, and you may well find it's got problems. Blower's working on all the settings, so we've got no fuse problems there at all. We've got aircon, which will inevitably need regassing. Paperwork wise, let's see what we've got, guys. Have we got a second key for starters? That's 150 quid saved. Yes, we've got a second key, so 150 quid saved. Let's look to the rest of it. We have a locking wheel nut, so that's money saved and hassle. We have a maintenance program. I didn't check this car. All the other cars, I checked what the service histories were before I bid on them. I did not check with this car. Service 2016, so that'll be the first one from Seat. 2017. Come on, 2023. So big gap between 2017 2023. Have we got any paperwork that indicates what happened between then? Not by the looks of it. No other paperwork. So let's have another look at that and see if there's any indication of the type of work that's been done. (2023) 2021, sorry. How did I miss that a minute ago? 2022, I jumped a load. Sorry guys, ignore me, I told you I'd do silly things. So, we have a 2022. Didn't I see a 2023 a minute ago? I'm all over the place, aren't I? 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019. Oh, so we've got near full service history. Why has someone put a service at 2023 there? And 2017. 2017. So what's happened is someone skipped a page when they did a service. I think you'll find. Someone skipped a page when they did a service, and then someone came along to the next service and assumed the same thing as me and put it in the next empty spot. So it's got actually pretty much full service history. Let's find out 23 again. Yeah, look who stamped the book. High Q. No offence, but they're not known for their care. But to be honest, I did exactly the same thing with the book, didn't I? I skipped ahead and assumed it hadn't had the services. So it's got a good service history. These are 3 cylinders, so they sound like a bag of spanner at the best of times. So let's go for a little run and see. It doesn't actually, to be fair to it, it doesn't sound too bad. It's idling nicely. I haven't got any fuel to put in the moment, so let's just go for a run around the unit and see what it looks like, what it feels like, sorry, is what we're looking for now. So now this is all about your gut instincts, your feelings. You want to feel there knocks and bangs in the suspension. Is there noises from the steering at all, where the brake's horrible? Look for, you know, uneven surfaces that you can check your suspension out in, so joins in tarmac, that kind of thing, and concrete. You want to see where your clutch is biting. This one is, I'd say, about the middle, so no problems with the clutch at all. That's feeling okay. Going through the gears, okay. I'm up into bit third a bit early for a 1 litre, but we'll get up there. Let's go off this edge here. Well, no knocks and bangs on the suspension, so that's good. Steering's lovely and light. Brakes are good. So on the face of it, mechanically, it looks all right. Now what we're going to have to do is put some fuel in it and do the traditional run home and back, and let that make the decision for us as to whether it really is okay mechanically. We need to get it fully up to temperature. We need to give it a try at all different speeds. But on the initials, I would say it really was cheap due to the damage more than anything. We've got a good history. It's very clean and tidy other than that damage. So once that's done, it'll be a really tidy car. And it's right on the price point that's being super popular at the moment. The sort of sub 6k. The sort of sub 6k market is absolutely flying at the moment. Sub 6k in small, cheap to run cars, not in every type of car. So comment down below, what's your thoughts so far? Any predictions? Get them in now. So as I said, what I'll do is I'll top that all up to the correct level, and then I'll do enough driving in it, probably about a couple of hours worth or more, maybe even more, maybe run it for a couple of days of driving and check whether the oil level drops as well, because the only other thing it could be possibly doing is burning oil. Now the 3 cylinders do use a bit of oil, that's to be allowed for. I think the manufacturer says a litre per 1,000 miles is an acceptable sort of wear for these little 3 cylinders, believe it or not. But we'll top it up and see if it does use any or not. Like I said, there's an acceptable amount for it to use, and then there's you know, an unacceptable amount for it to use, obviously. And what we'll do is we'll catch up on a future video, and I'll let you know how it's got on. So make sure you got that subscribe button hit down below. So here's the Jag that we've taken in part exchange against the Ford Focus. It was the 2012 1.6 petrol Ford Focus. So the lady came all the way up here after putting a deposit down the car because she says that this is costing her too much to run. I don't think, initially she said it was the fuel cost, but then she said she had some discs and pads done and they cost a fortune. She asked her friend how much the Ford parts would have been for a Focus or something like that, and he said they would have been like a third of the price. So it costing a little bit to run. And I do know that when I did discs and pads on the front of mine, it was like 240 quid or something, I think. She was putting in about £70 a week, going back and forth and doing a school run every day and shopping and a couple of runs out and about, which they can be fairly thirsty. If you got your foot down on them, you'll get under 30 on them. You need to be quite soft on them to get sort of 30 plus, because this is the 3 litre V6 twin turbo, same as in my one black one over there, but this is the facelifted version because this is a 2014, mine's a 2010. So yeah, they can be thirsty because they've got 280 horsepower and 600 newton meters of torque, which means it's very tempting to put your foot down and overtake everything, and before you know it, you're doing quite low MPG even on a diesel. But as I said before, I found the performance of my one pretty much, it was quicker than my 911 Porsche in real world driving, and that would be in the low teens for MPG if you're booting it. So, and we took one of these all the way up to the NEC, didn't I? I think I got over 40 miles to the gallon. Well in the 40s, I think, doing quite a decent speed all the way there. So it's horses for courses, but it does set alarm bells ringing slightly because she's only had it for about 4 months, I think she said. Now that's a big hit because she bought it retail. So she's bought it retail, but she's now getting trading for it just 4 months later, which is a big hit to take. Now obviously she didn't have to put much on top at all to get the Focus, because the Focus was only a £6 car. So she's pretty much not had to put any money down, but yeah, it does make me a little bit nervous. I've taken it for a good test drive. I took it out with her and took it for a test drive, and it drove really nicely. I didn't have problems to do it. I gave it full boost because that's what you want to do. Make sure that you haven't got the problem I've got where your inlet, the plastic inlets have cracked. I gave it full boost, no problems at all, no engine lights. I was out for about 15 minutes in it. So good old test drive on it, but it's obviously been sitting now overnight cold, and what we know with diesels is the truth comes out when they're cold. Now obviously it's automatic, so we don't have any dual mass flywheel rattle to worry about, but how will it actually start? So let's have a look. I was tempted to drive it home last night just to see, for a longer run, to see if there's any problems that might come to light on a longer run, but to be honest, in this cold weather the Range Rover's just too comfortable with all its heated seats and so forth. This needs to be cleaned off. This is where it's got a bit of gummy, but that'll come off with a bit of thinners. Clean off the buttons there. All of this stuff here just needs a bit of a clean down. These are nice cars. I do like them. Right, it's cold start. Let's see what happens. Yeah, no problem at all. 106,000 miles. It has a near full service history. I've got the paperwork down there. I think there's a stamp for almost every year. I think maybe one missing. All the screens work, all the vents are turning as they should do. We do have a TPMS light issue, which she had a tyre done on the back very recently. And I think the TPMS sensor's fallen off inside the tyre, so that needs to be done. She did put some, like I say, she put some tyres on it recently. I think she's done some discs and pads on it recently, but there is a bit of a vibration through the steering wheel. I can get on mine as well. So I think those front discs and pads need looking at. But everything lights up as it should do. The dash isn't all wrinkled up because these have a habit of the dashboard wrinkling. The leather pulls away. We've got Alcantara all up the sides here. It's a nice motor. It's got the Meridian sound system. Sounds just like mine. All the back seats are in good condition. The kids have got their feet up against a chair. I think we need to give it a clean. So hopefully the lady's genuine, but you just never know with these part exchanges, do you? It's a risk every single time, and you can look them over till the cows come home, but sometimes the faults are more apparent when you take it for a longer run, and that TPMS issue could end up being a bit more of a headache than it needs to be. This is obviously assuming that I retail it, so I might not retail it. They do scare me a bit retail wise. So I did get a good price on it for part exchange because I think there is an inherent risk with it. Having gone to the auctions recently, seen what things are going through the auctions for, I pretty much stole it compared to what stuff goes through the auctions for. Jesus, that was an eye-opener. So yeah, I think comment down below, what do you think I should actually do with it? Could be a nice raffle car for us, I guess, couldn't it? Or could be that I retail it because there is a good margin to retail it, but there's an inherent risk with it. Or should I just move it on, trade it out, and just take a quick bit of profit on it? I think she's going to have a bit of a bit of an awakening driving the 1.6 petrol Focus about. She did drive it and said that she actually was quite pleased with the performance. It wasn't as bad as she thought she would be. But the thing with these is if you've not driven one, nothing accelerates in gear like these do. With I think it's 600 Newton meters of torque available at 1500 RPM, which means it's just absolutely stumped. I mean, what's a Golf GTI got torque wise? 250 foot-pound of torque, probably up around the 2.8, 3000. They're just absolute beasts. So the Jaguar, I was half tempted to retail it because it's a really clean car. It doesn't need a huge amount doing to it, but because it is pretty much all the money from the Ford Focus is tied up in the car, I decided to just trade it straight out. And our friend Ferrari's coming down to have it. Ferrari has quite a lot of cars. Actually, Toby watches the channel. He's going to come down and pick it up. I think his dad does. If I remember correctly, his dad does Jaguars and Land Rover and stuff like that, so he's quite handy if they need any work doing. His dad can help him out, so that's probably exactly the right home for it. I get my cash out of the car, out of the Focus sale, by selling it on to him, and he gets to make a few quid out of the car as well. And yeah, it'll probably end up being a really nice car for someone. But I'm doing pretty okay stock wise with the Civic in, with the Qashqai in, the i10 in, and the Dacia in, and then the unit's already full. I don't think I necessarily need to desperately hang on to stock. I think I've got the Cougar coming back soon as well. I don't think I need to desperately hang on to stock that doesn't really fit my stock profile. I think I'm better on just moving it on. He will be fully retail prepping this, and I think it's going to be in the 9s, something like that. So if anybody is interested in it, let me know and I'll put you in touch with Ferrari. It will be all warranted and all that kind of stuff. As we saw in the previous video, our winner from our last vehicle raffle, Rob, picked up the Citroen C1. Worth picking up on what we did in, well, what you guys did in 2023 in terms of charity donations. North Devon Hospice, £776. Grand Appeal, £4,436, because if you remember, the person that won that let us sell on a taxi and donate that money. I think we gave some small amounts to some other charities on that one. East of the Water Food Bank, again, that was a Toyota Camry we did. And I think, again, because the person that won the Toyota said, look, just sell the car on, they took the top down bundle. We gave a bit more to some other small charities there as well. We helped out the guys over at Home Built, raised some money for blind veterans, £520. Sophie's Legacy was a big one where we helped support the Up and Down channel. We was doing a massive 24-hour live. So we raised, well, you raised £3,485 on that one. The latest one, the figures just come in for the latest one from that Citroen C1. We actually raised £3,074.40. But I did say that if it performed a bit better than I thought it was going to, I would top it up further, which I have done with another £500. So it's going to be £3,574 going to the Veterans Charity. That means in total raised in 2023 by you guys supporting those raffles, £17,171.64. So massive pat to everybody on the back, and well done to all those people that won. So it's time to get the same going for 2024. I think we're kind of overdue, you know, that kind of result. We can help a lot more other charities. We're going to do the same thing again. Try and pick smaller local charities where our money is going to have a really big impact on them, where they might not get the sort of TV coverage and have the advertising to get the big donations. So we're going to start that up again. So it's time to show you what the next raffle car is. By the way, if anyone watching is in printing and thinks they can do better than this setup to record the previous ones and the future ones, then bung me a message. It does look a little bit lame. I accept that. So here is our new raffle prize. It's a 2016 Vauxhall Adam 1.4 petrol manual, and this is a glam spec. Per previous raffles, we are going to be supporting a small charity, one that we can really make a difference with. And on this occasion, it will be Willow's Wish. Willow's Wish was set up, unfortunately, again, as per a lot of the charities you find are set up after someone experiences something terrible themselves. Unfortunately, the founders of Willow's Wish did lose their baby during childbirth. Willow's Wish is all about supporting and fundraising for other charities that help with stillbirths and neonatal deaths. One of the specific reasons they set up Willow's Wish was to support SANS, which is the stillbirth and neonatal death charity. Their fundraising and so forth, they split the proceeds of their fundraisers, and a lot of it goes to SANS. That's one of the reasons they set the charities up in the first place, to help support that other charity. Fantastic small charity to support. Hopefully we can make a real difference with them, as we have done previously with the other charities. I will put a link to that charity in the description down below so that you can go and check it out for yourself. The prize will be this Vauxhall Adam. It's done 67,000 miles. It has a full service history. We've just completed a fresh service on it and a new advisory free MOT, so it's all ready to go. It's a fantastic little car to drive with that more powerful 1.4 petrol in it over the Vauxhall 1.2, which those who watch the channel regularly know I'm not a big fan of. The condition is really good. There's no big dings or dents or scrapes or scratches to note on it at all. It's in really nice condition, a fantastic metallic purple, as you can see. The glam spec gives you the alloys, a lot of other features which we can have a look at inside. I say it's all set to go for the new owner. It'd make a cracking first car for someone, or a bit of a family runabout. So inside we've got Bluetooth, we've got cruise control. It's got quite a funky little interior. It's got a really nice sort of textured dash on it. You've got your stereo here with auxiliary input and USB input, as well as Bluetooth audio, air conditioning. Really nice little car. As per our previous raffles, we always offer an alternative prize, because people have been generous enough in the past to say, look, I just wanted to support the raffle, I wanted to support the charity, I don't really want the car. And what we've done is then sold the car on their behalf and given that money to the charity as well. So we always offer an alternative prize for people that might want to do that. On this occasion, what we're offering, along with our sponsors Top Don, is an Artidag 500 diagnostics machine, along with a Jump Surge 1200. And what we're going to do and put on top of those is £1,000 cash. So if you win and you opt not to have the vehicle, we will sell that and give that to the charity along with the other proceeds that the raffle raises for the charity. We will give you the Top Don 500 and the Jump Surge 1200 plus £1,000. As per previous raffles, again, we're making it nice and affordable so everyone can get involved. Tickets will only be £2 per tickets, and as always, we're going to offer some bundles for those of you that want to buy large amounts of tickets. We're going to offer you some bundles that give you some free tickets, so look out for those when you are on the raffle page. The link for that raffle will be in the video description down below, so look at the description for this YouTube video. It will be in the video description down below, or just search Google Chops Garage raffle. So yeah, comment down below on your thoughts on that. I'm not sure either way, to be honest, but it is what it is. I bought it trade. Well, that was one of the more nerve-wracking drives I've had. I decided to take the SA. I bought it totally blind. I took the person's word for it on everything on the car, and we're about to find out how bad a move that was. Now, as you can